How am I to go there? How am I to go where? How am I to go up front there? How am I to go?
Welcome back. Let's give you some insight into the different types of auctions. So today's episode is how do real estate auctions work? Well, a lot of people think this is complicated. It's really not complicated, but by the same token, it doesn't seem to be simple. So let's separate the different kind of auction. We'll talk about federal government auctions, we'll talk about state auctions, and the state auctions really boil down to tax lien and deed auctions, which take place at the county level. So as you might think, everything is a little complicated. I'll try to simplify it for you and see if we can make it easy. All right, so auctions are something that you want to learn about because with the tax defaulted properties, you're going to be able to get properties for 10 cents on the dollar. So I'm going to give you some information about different parts of the market so that you understand all of the auctions don't run the same. So most people think everything's a distressed property auction. So they're thinking about foreclosures, or they're thinking about the federal government, the IRS taking a property away and things like that. Well, that's not entirely right, but it's not entirely wrong either. So let's talk about HUD, which is HUD, which stands for Housing and Urban Development. Now, they finance a lot of property. Now, when they finance a lot of property, they do it at very low down payments. So many of those properties come back to HUD because the people don't make their payments. So those are foreclosure properties. And what do? They want to auction those properties. Well, their auction is a little different than you'd expect. There's thousands of these properties available in all the cities across the United States. But they just put them on a list. And when they're on the list, well, the brokers tell people about them. And you can go there. And there is no bidding. Whatever the price is, that's what it is. So they post it on a list. And then it's a take it or leave it situation. Now, why would the government do that? The government does that because they just want to make sure you can look at the property inside and out, but they want to make sure that you can't come back and complain. So it's take it or leave it. So when you look at that, and if you like the price of it, you buy it. If you don't like it, you don't buy it. They don't have any haggling. They don't have any brokers going back and forth. There's no contingencies. If there's anything wrong with the property, you're going to buy it as is. All right, so they let the buyers look inside. If it's damaged or it's not clean or it's not whatever you look at is what you're going to get, and they're not going to change that. All right, they only do that because they have so many of these properties and they don't want to haggle with people. All right, so what has the government done? HUD has created a no-haggle system. You walk in there, you look at the list, then you go look at the property inside and out. If you want to pay for that price, that's great. Now, how can they sell properties that way? I'll tell you, they sell them by the dozens. They do that because they offer financing. And see, many people can't get financing. But the federal government wants to get rid of those properties, HUD and the Department of Veterans Affairs. They want to get rid of those properties. So they're sold as is. And they're take it or leave it on the list. So whatever's wrong with the property, guess what? You're not going to get a warranty on that property. So a lot of people buy the properties. They know they've got to fix them up. So they become handymen. But they think they're getting a good deal, and the government is giving them a good deal because they're getting not a rock bottom price, they're getting a good price, and they're getting as is, and there's no haggle, and so you know the deal's going to go through. All you got to do is get financing, and the local government will provide, not the local, but the federal government will provide that financing, so that's a pretty good deal. All right, now the Department of Veterans Affairs has a similar situation. What do? They do the same thing. They have a list of the properties. The brokers take people there. They can look at them inside and out, and they will finance the property too. So there's two great financing sources there, but they're really real estate auctions as far as the local government is concerned. All right, so now how are these auctions going to work when we talk about tax defaulted property? Well, I've been involved with tax lien certificates and tax deeds for over 30 years. Now, nationwide, there's over 3,000 counties. Now, all of those counties sell tax defaulted property. Now, what is a tax defaulted property? It's a property that the property owner has failed to pay the tax. So the local county has confiscated the property, and now they're going to sell it. Now, when they sell these properties, they sell them at basically the start of the starting bid is the back taxes. So if someone defaulted on their taxes, that's where the auction might start. So that could easily start at 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. Now, what kind of properties are these? These are just traditional real estate, single-family homes, small apartment properties, small office buildings, sometimes small farms, even residential lots. those are properties that are selling at tax defaulted auction. All right, what's happened? The owner has failed to pay the property taxes. So you can expect to see starting bids of 10 and 20 cents on the dollar. All right, so the tax value of the property is going to be on the property. So it's going to have a tax value, but it'll be discounted 60, 70, 80% because the treasurer just wants to get rid of the property. Now, why do they want to just get rid of it? Because the treasurer doesn't want the property. The county doesn't want the property. They want to put it back on the tax roll. So they're going to start at very low prices to encourage people to buy those properties, get them back out into the marketplace. All right, now the county has to generate money to take care of all the county employees, the school teachers, the firefighters, the police force, the sheriff, help the hospital, all those things. So that money comes from property taxes. So the starting bid is determined by the county treasurer. Now, the county treasurer will start the auction at a very low price. It could be just the back taxes, could be 5 or 10 cents on the dollar. So this episode is all about how do real estate auctions actually work. Well, they work very well, and there's a lot of them. So there's going to be over 5,000 tax defaulted auctions this year, and I can tell you right now, all 3,000 counties are going to have auctions on these tax defaulted properties. Now, with the computer, you can buy in any state and any county across the United States. Now, this all starts with the legislature of each state. Now, the legislature meets in the Capitol, and they make the rules, and then they push the rules down to the local county. Now, the local county board of supervisors, county commissioners, they're going to tell the tax collector, meaning the treasurer, they're going to say, you and the tax collector get out there, get the taxes levied. If the people don't pay it, let's confiscate the property, and then we're going to resell it at a tax auction. So there's going to be at least 3,000 of those tax auctions this year. All right, now the treasurer does all the work, and they're backed up by the board of supervisors and the legislature of the state. All right, so these properties are posted on the county website, and they'll be announced in the newspaper. All right, now you might be able to buy these properties right on the courthouse steps if they're having a live auction, or you're going to buy it off the website or a professional website if you're going to buy the property online. Now, once a property has been seized and confiscated, the government just wants to collect the back taxes. So they're not trying to push the price up. So you might be able to buy a property for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, and then you can sell it for whatever you can get in the market. So that's your margin. So this is a business where you can make great margin on property. All right. So if you start at 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, you know you started out pretty well. All right. Now, everything is transparent at these auctions. It's always a public auction, so anybody can attend. They're going to tell you what their tax assessed value is. You can look at the outside of the property, but you can't look at the inside of the property. These properties will be discounted 60, 70, 80%. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state in the next 90 days. This calendar updates every single day. I'm here today to show you how to make money. To do that, I'm going to show you briefly that there are thousands of tax defaulted real estate properties across the 3,000 plus counties in the United States. This is quite interesting. You're looking at the Ted Thomas Magic Interactive Map and Auction Calendar. It changes every day. Now, I created the calendar and the map so I would know how many auctions are taking place every day in the United States. Now I can show the little guy how to make money. Most importantly, I created this system so I could have an auction list for each auction 24/7. Well, how about that, folks? Now you know how many auctions there are. So the counties that have small populations, they'll have a half a dozen up to 100 properties that they're going to auction off. But the counties that have large populations, they're going to have anywhere from 100 to 1,000, maybe even 1,500 properties that they're going to auction. So this is a big business nationwide. So if the county has a large population, expect to find at least 1,000 property. Now, they're going to follow the rules, yes. So you got to learn the rules of the auction, or you're not going to do well. Now, there's no refunds. So don't buy a property unless you've looked at it. Well, you need to look at it. You don't want to guess. You don't want to pray that you're getting the right property. You want to go there and look at it. You're going to get the deed to the property. As soon as you have the deed to the property, you're allowed to go out there and sell it. Now, my policy is this. I like to buy these properties. I like to buy them low, and then I want to sell them low. What do I mean by that? Well, I want to buy them down there at rock bottom price, but I'm not going to try and get total. These are used and abused properties. Some of them just need a little fix up, but some of them are junk. So don't buy any junk. All right, so you want to buy it low, and then you want to sell it low. Now, why do I do that? Because I want to sell to the flippers and the fixer-upper people and the handymen. I don't want to wait in the marketplace. So this method is perfect for newcomers because you don't have to be an excellent salesperson. What you do is you buy low, and sell to people that really are anxious to get it. All right, now, marketing is important in real estate. Why is it important? People won't know about your property unless you get it on Craigslist, unless you put it on eBay, unless you put it on Zillow, unless you put it on multiple listings. In other words, you've got to market the property. You've got to get the property market. It's the biggest blunder that people make in real estate. They don't get out there and tell people that they have a property for sale. So make sure you're using Zillow, make sure you're using multiple listing, Craigslist, Facebook, any electronic site. You want to be on it. Why? So people know about it so they can buy these properties from you. Now, the newspaper, that still works. So you can put ads there. You want to go to real estate clubs, let them know about it. The point is, there's going to be competition in the marketplace. So we're going to do well because we're going to buy it low and we're going to sell it low. But who do we want to attract? We want to attract every possible buyer. So the selling is the part that gives people the most challenge. So the key to the vault is always how good a marketer you are. So if you're a good marketer, you're going to do very well. All right, now, it's dangerous to your wallet if you just guess at what you're doing or you're praying at an auction. So big mistake number one is people don't look at the property. Don't buy a property unless you look at it. What if there was a fire? What if there was a hurricane? What if there was a flood of some kind? What if it was next to a pig farm? So a lot of things could go wrong. Understand this. When the auction takes place, when that gavel comes down, you're going to own that property. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's no time to start doing your due diligence. Now, right below me, if you want, you can not only subscribe, but if you'd like to have an auction list, a sample auction list, just go right below me and get it. I'm Ted Thomas. Don't forget, request your free auction list right below me.